Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Let's talk about an absolutely fantastic fight, one that showed such a high level of skill from two guys who are so good at their respective styles, and it gelled perfectly to give a brilliant connoisseur's contest, the type of which, if you had a young lad or a young girl who wanted to learn how to box, you'd show them this fight, because it was two very contrasting styles, both guys at the top of their game, and the styles, I thought, gelled perfectly to make a completely absorbing contest of such high quality. What a marvelous fight. Of course, I'm talking about Artur Beterbiev against Dmitrii Bivol. It was won on a majority decision by Artur Beterbiev. And I have to say, to start with, I had Dmitrii Bivol winning this fight 115-113. But having said that, I have no problem with, say, a 115-113 in favour of Beterbiev. I think one judge had it 116-112. I thought that was too wide. Yeah, I mean, what do you say about this fight? It was just fantastic. Okay, so you've got, we know their respective styles. Beterbiev is this, he gives you this smothering pressure, even though he starts quite slowly usually. He'll just smother you. He cuts the ring off beautifully. He's got this really underrated footwork. And in the first round, he was actually treading on Bivol's feet, and Bivol just sort of stumbled to the side at one point. And Beterbiev did start, I thought, a little bit quicker than he normally does. A typical Artur Beterbiev fight is the first half, he's sort of getting closer and closer and closer, the water on the rock effect that we always talk about. Second half of the fight, he really drowns you. The pressure is stifling. But Dmitrii Bivol was more than a match for him, because Bivol, most of the time he was on the back foot. He was not running. He was boxing beautifully. He wastes virtually nothing, Bivol. Fires more punches than Beterbiev. But Beterbiev, with his, up close and personal pressure, usually he can make an opponent sort of lose their shape, lose their game plan. The game plan goes out the window, and start to fight purely defensively to survive. Bivol, for a lot of this fight, was fighting defensively, but he wasn't fighting to survive. He was fighting to win, because he was constantly looking to counter. And I thought before this fight that if Bivol was going to win, by the way, I picked Bivol on points. That was my prediction. I thought if he's going to win this fight, he's got to punctuate the defensive work by, even if it's only for 10, 15, 20 seconds, standing and fighting and exchanging with Beterbiev, so that the rounds aren't given to Beterbiev purely on pressure. And in a lot of the rounds, he did that. Now, clearly it didn't impress the judges enough, because the judges gave it to Beterbiev, and I think his heavier hands and the pressure was what they were probably looking at. This is, of course, subjective, and there's nothing wrong with subjectivity, so long as round after round after round you score it using the same criteria. So you can't say, well, he was really aggressive in that round, I'll give him that round, and then he's equally aggressive in the next round, but you give it to the other guy because of his defensive skills. I mean, okay, it's not set in stone, but you don't want to be moving the goalposts constantly from round to round. If you like a certain style, if you're looking for, what are you looking for to give a guy a round? Are you looking for the heavier hands, the pressure? Or are you looking for defensive skills, counter punching, lighter punches, but nevertheless scoring punches and more of them? This was a fight where so many of the rounds were close. And clearly two of the judges favoured Beterbiev's pressure. And I don't really have a problem with that. Where do you begin? It was just sublime skills. Beterbiev was getting closer, as we expected. After 6 rounds, I had this, I think I had 3 each. I'm doing this like 10 minutes after the fight's finished. But I had it about 3 each in rounds. And then I thought the middle rounds, let me get this right, middle to late rounds, I thought most of the time it was Bivol. Again, very close rounds, but I thought Bivol was nicking them. And then in the last 2 rounds, I thought Beterbiev, if he's going to have a chance of winning this contest on points, he needs these last 2 rounds. and I did give the last 2 rounds to Beterbiev. And like I say, I ended up with a 115, 113 card. This was for all the marbles, IBF, WBO, WBC, WBA, and even the IBO was on. So he got 5 belts now, Beterbiev. I definitely want to see a rematch. I mean, don't forget, Beterbiev, he's 39 years of age. He's coming off a very, very serious knee injury operation. God only knows how he makes 175 at his age, considering that as an amateur he boxes a heavyweight, which not a super heavyweight, which is, pretty much a modern day cruiserweight. I'd like to see him rematch. I think these two, they need to rematch each other. I was hoping this was going to be a draw because I didn't want to see a loser. I really was hoping because A, like I say, no losers if it's a draw, and B, a rematch. And I want to see a rematch of this fight because it was just technically it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's probably the casuals wouldn't think it was as great as something like Dubois and AJ maybe. But then I don't think the casuals would really know what they were looking at here because this was real technical stuff and a beautiful contrast of styles. I think if this was an old 15-rounder, Beterbiev would definitely have gone on to win it. But as it was a 12-rounder, he did win the last 2 rounds for me, Beterbiev. And over the last 6 minutes, I thought Bivol was looking very, very weary. He still found enough to land the odd punch here. He never at any point lost his shape, even though he was under extreme pressure. But Beterbiev, even when Bivol was unloading, and there were these little pockets where Bivol would fire salvos, 4, 5, 6s and 7s. And just to sort of say to Beterbiev, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Don't think you can intimidate me. That's exactly what I thought he needed to do. And he did do it in some rounds, but perhaps not enough, or not enough to impress the judges. And Beterbiev was able to carry on. Again, he held his shape. He stuck to his game plan, kept the belief. Both of these guys trying to win until the last seconds of the fight. There was no survival in there. It was always a case of, I need to win. Beterbiev was told by his corner, you need to knock him out to win. That was with 2 rounds to go. I guess he did try to do that, but he won the last 2 rounds for me anyway, and picked up the undisputed title. But 2 terrific fighters, really great fighters. One for the ages, this. Loved it. Loved every second of it. And, what do you think? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? I think you probably did. I know a lot of you you're boxing, so that's really good. But leave your comments below if you've got any. The undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world is Artur Beterbiev. 21 wins, 20 KOs. He let himself go, didn't he? He didn't get a KO in this one. No draws, no defeats. Well done to him. Massive commiserations to Dmitrii Bivol. 23 wins with 12 KOs and now 1 defeat. 33 years old compared to Beterbiev's 39. But let's see a rematch. Come on, we want a rematch of this fight. Maybe even a trilogy if Bivol turns him over. You just never know, do you? Anyway, comments below. What a brilliant fight. Thank you for watching this video. If you are new to the channel, you could subscribe. I'd appreciate that. That would be fantastic. You'd be helping us out. And if you liked the video, also, if you could hit the like button, because they do count them, apparently, I'm told. Don't know why, but they do. And yeah, not a bad evening's boxing, was it? I enjoyed it. Don't know about you, but I'm sure you did. Thanks a lot. You take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and bye for now.